Hello everyone and welcome to today's video where today we are going to be talking about Jack Grealish. Now as you may know, Man City and Aston Villa have agreed a deal in the region of £100 million for Jack Grealish, which will eclipse the record that was previously held by Manchester United when they signed Paul Pogba back in 2016. As I'm recording this, Jack Grealish is in the process of completing his medical, and if it all goes to plan, he will be a Manchester City player and he may even play in the Community Shield, which will be taking place this weekend. So let's start off by why Man City want to sign Jack Grealish. The first reason being is Pep Guardiola's admiration for Jack Grealish. As we've seen, he has had to play in the Championship for a number of years to establish himself as a world-class player. And even as Aston Villa made it into the Premier League, Jack Grealish was always one of those players that Pep Guardiola always said to the Man City players, keep an eye out because he can cause havoc for Man City and make things a lot more difficult if we don't stop him. And I think as well, one of the reasons why Guardiola wanted to get Jack Grealish into Manchester City is to do with the fact that it takes the creative burden not only off Kevin De Bruyne but the players like Riyad Mahrez, Sterling, Foden, Gundogan. All those players contributed to many goals and many assists last season. However, Jack Grealish coming into the side can take the creative burden off all those players and make it more well-rounded. And the creative aspect shows a lot given the stats of Jack Grealish when he was playing for Aston Villa last season. In the 26 games that he played, he scored 6 goals and created 10 assists for his Aston Villa teammates. And Jack Grealish does have a major influence on Aston Villa, given that when he was playing and in the starting lineup for Aston Villa, they were winning around 50% of their games with him in the side. However, without him in the side, they were winning around 20% of their games. So without Jack Grealish in the side, it took around 5 games for Aston Villa to even register a win on average. But with him in the side, it's like 1 in 2 games that they would win. So you can see how much of an influence Jack Grealish has when he's playing for Aston Villa. And let's not forget about the Euros as well, where every single England fan was begging Gareth Southgate to start Jack Grealish in near enough every single game. And whenever he was playing for England, when it was starting against Czech Republic, he got an assist then. And he came on in the game against Germany and had an influence in the first goal for England and even created the second goal for Harry Kane in the 2-0 victory against Germany. So you see how much of an influence he does have, not only at club level, but also international level. So we are getting ourselves an established England, should be starting every now and then, but we have got an established England player coming to Man City. And then you think about the price tag. Obviously, 100 million it's crazy money. It really is. There's no denying that. There's no denying that Jack Grealish for 100 million is obscene. However, the reason why it is around 100 million is because Jack Grealish signed a 5-year deal last year with Aston Villa and still has 4 years left on that current deal. So obviously, the more years that you're contracted to, the more money that is going to be demanded by the club that you're with, just so you can get out of that contract. Plus as well, he is English, so essentially that doubles the price of a footballer if you're English. Like you've seen it with Ben White, who's moved from Brighton to Arsenal, and he costs 50 million when really probably only is about 30 million tops. So obviously the home quota is a key factor and will bump that price up. There are stories as well that Jack Grealish did have a 100 million release clause in his contract, so if someone met that release clause, then Aston Villa didn't really have much of an option but to sell Jack Grealish in that instance. But there are stories that say that it is true, but then there are stories that say it's not true. So it's whatever you want to believe it to be. But yeah, it's crazy money. There's no denying it. I would say my concern about Jack Grealish coming to Man City is whether he would play. Now, given that we have spent 100 million on him, I bloody hope he starts every single game, or at least gets into the team. Because if he's not playing, I'll be a bit mad, to be honest. Like, we spent all this money to get Jack Grealish in, and he wouldn't play. Like, what's all that about? But he's going to be playing no matter what. It's most likely that Jack Grealish is going to be starting on the left-hand side of the midfield. So if we're playing a 4-3-3 like we have been doing, Jack Grealish will be playing on the left and competing with the likes of Raheem Sterling and Phil Foden. Or possibly he may even play in a central midfield position alongside Kevin De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva or Gundogan, whichever one you want to go with if we're doing a false nine sort of scenario. But he could play in midfield. I very doubt it, but I do see him on the left-hand side and just staying on that left wing, essentially. Now, with another midfielder as well coming in Jack Grealish, I feel like we've got to move somebody on. And who that will be, I sort of have an inkling about who might be leaving. I think that Bernardo Silva, I've heard loads of stories about him possibly leaving the club this summer. I think he's got about 2 years left on his contract, and he's wanting to play in the Spanish league, in La Liga. And I think Atletico Madrid might be a possible destination for him. So maybe we've got to move somebody on, and you never know, the money that we get in possibly might be used to get a certain striker from Tottenham Hotspur. I'm not saying anything else, but that's got to be our next target. Like, I've always wanted Man City to sign a striker this summer, whether it was Harry Kane, Haaland, or just somebody, because we're going to get found out in this false nine that we have been playing, even though it has worked quite effectively last season. And you could say that Man City won the league without a striker when we did have strikers playing, but most of the time it was a false nine. But I just feel like an actual striker up front to complete this side is what we need now. Whether we get a striker in, I'm not sure now, but we do have to move players on to fund for other players coming in, essentially. But those are my overall views on the signing of Jack Grealish. If you did enjoy this video, then be sure to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you soon with another video. Peace!